Hey guys, so my name is Fabiana and I'm here one more time to help you with your English, okay? And our topic, once again, will be phrasal verbs. And we've been dealing with lots of different things. We've dealt with how to, what the grammar is and all different things concerning phrasal verbs. But today I will give you actually 5 tips, okay, to help you never forget them again. All right. So before I start, I actually would like to tell you something that happened to me this week. So a friend of mine, she texted me and said that she broke up with her boyfriend. Okay. And I actually thought that splitting up is a good idea because I don't really like him. Okay. They fall out a lot. But unfortunately, the next day, sent me another message saying that they had made up and they were back together. Okay. So not so good for me, maybe good for her, not so good for me because I don't like him very much. Okay, so yeah, this happened to me this week. But so that's my little story. And did you notice that I used a lot of phrasal verbs to tell my story? Could you pay attention to the phrasal verbs I used? No? No, yeah, okay. So let's have a look here. So this is my story. Have a look. Can you find the phrasal verbs? Have a quick look. Yeah. So the first phrasal verb is to fall out. Okay, and the next one was to break up. The other one, split up, and the other one, make up. Okay, so all of this, we're going to deal with them today. And based on these phrasal verbs, I will tell you 5 amazing tips that will help you never forget them again. So let's start. So based on these phrasal verbs, all right? So to start, my tip number 1, okay, for you is actually to never use translators. So every time you see a phrasal verb that you don't know, go straight to Cambridge Dictionary. That is actually your best friend, all right? So if you go with translators, they will give you the literal meaning. That's not what you want. You want the real meaning that will help you remember. Okay, so the first one we had a look at was break up. Do you know the meaning of break up? You probably do. If you want, you can pause the video, go over to the dictionary and have a look. But if you don't have the time, I can tell you what it is because I looked it up already. So that's that. So to break up means to end a relationship. Okay, so English dictionaries, they are not as scary as people think. They're actually extremely helpful. Next phrasal verb was to split up. Do you know what that means? Any ideas? No? It's to end a relationship or marriage. So it's quite similar to break up. They could be considered synonyms because they're very, very similar. The other one was to fall out. Any ideas? To argue with someone. Okay. And the next one was to make up. Any ideas? Make up? To forgive someone and be friendly again. So you did. So if you just look them up in the dictionary, you'll be fine, and you have the real meanings. Opposite to actually looking at the translator, which is not the best idea. Okay. My tip number 2, okay, is actually not to use the translators. I've been talking about it for a while. Translators will give you the literal meaning. That's not what you want because then you won't be able to understand. Okay. And just an example. So, for example, if you speak Portuguese, you're Brazilian or from Portugal, and you speak Portuguese. If you go over to the translator and type the phrasal verb make up, the last one on our list, this is what you get. So as you can see, so we have, so make up, if you put in the translator, it'll give you this meaning, maquiagem, which is exactly the picture. That's not what we want because we actually know that to make up is to forgive someone and be friendly again in the context we're looking at. That's the phrasal verb. So that's why sometimes the translators could be a bit dangerous. Okay. Tip number 3, a lot of people, they will look at the preposition and they try to think about all the verbs that will go with the preposition so they can have the phrasal verb. So for example, they say up and they go look up, wake up, and pick up. That's not the best option, okay? So you should think about a context, which is, in our case, love and relationship. So instead of just going over to the prepositions itself, you should think of a context and then see what surrounds it. In our case, we have the phrasal verbs, break up, split up, make up, and fall out, which are all related to the same topic. And that makes it so much easier for you to understand and remember them. Okay? Tip number 4 is to practice, practice, practice. So we all know that practice makes perfect. And I feel that, and sometimes students say, oh, but I can't use it. If you practice at home, you will be able to use the phrasal verb that you were learning. You just have to take the time and practice them, okay? So as we said before, it's good to take notes. So you take notes, phrasal verb, meaning, break up, and a relationship. And the next step would be to write a sentence. Try to write sentences that are true for you so you remember it, okay? So my example, my best friend broke up with her boyfriend. Okay, as you can see, phrasal verbs there, made a sentence, perfect. If you want to go the extra mile and give you more context and make it even easier for you to remember, you can actually add something and say, because he had to move to Sydney. So my friend broke up with her boyfriend because he had to move to Sydney to work. Okay, and a lot of people ask me, what would be the magic number? How many sentences should I write? I always suggest actually 5 sentences. My students know very well I have the 5 sentences for homework, but I think it works really well because I feel that if you write more than that, it might be a bit too much and then you won't remember anything. Yep. And tip number 5, last one, it's actually to take your notes and revisit. So if you revisit it, so before you learn something new, I think you should revise what you learned before. So if you learn 5 phrasal verbs today, and then tomorrow you're gonna do homework, check the ones you did today, and then you can move on. Because revisiting, I think, and then a lot of people say, oh, I don't remember, I have a memory problem. You don't have a memory problem. I just think that you're spending the time revising things properly. Okay, so do you remember all the tips? Number 1, do you remember what it was? Yeah. Think of a verb and write your own definition. And of course, check Cambridge Dictionary. Tip number 2, no translators, please, because you get the literal meaning. That's not what you want. Tip number 3, do you remember what that was? Yeah, learning a context. Our context today was love, but it could be basically anything. Okay, so try just to put the phrasal verb in the same context. That will help you heaps. And number 4, practice. Usually 5 sentences is more than enough. And revising things before you move on. Okay, so as usual, I have some homework for you. Okay, so I have a challenge actually. So I had 5 tips. So I would like you to practice maybe 1 tip a day. So for example, day 1, you should look up the phrasal verbs in the dictionary. Day 2, without using the translator, maybe you could check them again, revisit them again. And then day 3, maybe you could just look them up, okay, and so on. And then you have, each day you have a different one, okay? So that's it for today. Thank you for watching. And please press like if you liked it. And if you want to write some sentences for me to check down in the comments, go for it. Or just if you have any questions, just let me know, okay? Thank you, bye-bye.